Hi there BookTube, it's Eleanor here, and today I'm doing a bit of a big book haul really. I was very lucky. I was treated to lots of books this Christmas from various family members and friends. So let's just hop in and I'll show you all the ones that I got. I was really lucky that my mum and dad decided this year they were going to buy me a book. Along with some other lovely Christmas presents. They treated me to a book I've wanted for a while, and it's called The Book by Keith Houston, and it's a cover-to-cover exploration of the most powerful object of our time. So this is a book about books. It takes us through the history of books. It talks us through how books are made, how paper's made, the text, etchings on text. It talks about history through books, so we find out about civilizations, empires. It says it talks in an invitingly tactile history of this 2,000-year-old medium. We look at writing, printing, the art of illustrations, binding. We go from papyrus scrolls to hardcovers and paperbacks, and I just think this is going to be a really lovely history book to dip in and out of on a subject that I'm really interested in. So fingers crossed I enjoy this one. I did receive a couple of books for review, so I'll talk about those quickly. The first one is Nothing But the Truth by Dick Lair. When I was offered this book, the blurb really drew me in. This is about a young girl who is determined to prove that her father is innocent. He was sent to prison, she believes, for a crime he didn't commit, and she makes it her mission to try and discover what has happened and to uncover the truth and prove her father's innocence. Set in Boston, this is the story of gang-related gunfire and a look into prejudice and police prejudice, I believe. So let's have a look, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this one's all about. The next one is an interesting one I didn't know anything about, and that is This Splintered Silence by Kayla Olson. I believe this is a science fiction story. It says Lindley Hamilton has been the leader of the space station Lusker since every first generation crew member on board, including her mother and commander, was killed by a deadly virus. Lindley always assumed she'd captain the Lusker one day, but she never thought that day would come so soon, and she never thought it would be like this, struggling to survive every day, learning how to keep the Lusker running, figuring out how to communicate with Earth, making sure they don't run out of food. When a member of the surviving second generation dies from symptoms that look like the deadly virus though, Lindley feels her world shrinking even smaller. The disease was supposed to be over, the second generation was supposed to be immune, but as more people die, Lindley must face the terrifying reality that either the virus has mutated or something worse is happening, and one of their own is a killer. So this sounds like it's going to be a bit of a fun, fast-paced space adventure. At the airport, I picked up a book on our way out to Tenerife because I just thought it sounded fascinating. It's called Talking with Psychopaths and Savages, A Journey into the Evil Mind by Christopher Berry D. This says on the back that it's criminologist Christopher Berry D takes readers deep inside the dark minds of some of the most pitiless and dangerous people alive. Having spent years interviewing imprisoned criminals, including notorious serial killers, he discovered that the lack of remorse these people showed was in many ways more terrifying than the crimes they had committed. It says during the course of his conversations, he also had the chance to interview his subject psychiatrists, and in doing so uncovered a terrible truth. A monster can be hidden behind a friendly face. Some of these experts, he found, proved to have more in common with their patients than he would have expected. It said this book examines horrific crimes committed by some of the most remorseless and merciless people to have lived, revealing a mindset wholly alien to most people. I'm fascinated by this. I'm fascinated by psychopaths, and I think this is going to be a really interesting book to read. Next, when I got back from my holiday, a book arrived that I had ordered to go along with my bee books that I've been reading, and that is The Honey Bee Hotel, The Waldorf Astoria's Rooftop Garden and the Heart of New York City by Leslie Day. This just sounds fascinating. It's not a terribly long book, but it goes back over 100 years, the Astor family and the birth of the iconic Manhattan landmark, the Waldorf Astoria. But it also looks at this creativity, this executive chef David Garcelon, who has this celebrated rooftop garden, and which includes 6 hives containing 300,000 honeybees, and we're looking at that and the history of this Astoria and this rooftop garden, and I just think it sounds fascinating. Now my lovely husband just treated me to so many books this Christmas off my wish list. The first is a trilogy that I really wanted to read ever since I've read Neil Shusterman's Scythe series, or the first two that are out so far. I've wanted to read the Skinjacker trilogy, Ever Lost, Ever Wild and Ever Found. I'd never really heard of them before, but I noticed that they were written by him. They sounded intriguing, about a girl and a boy who are in a car crash and their souls end up in Neverlost, which is like this shadow world between life and death, and there they explore a fascinating new landscape, discover who they want to be, and it says, and fight a battle that will decide the fate of both the living and the dead world. So I just think this sounds really fascinating, and I really enjoy his writing, so I'm looking forward to getting stuck into these. He picked a couple of graphic novels off my wish list. One is called Henchgirl by Kristen Gudsnuck. I've had this on there for quite a while. It just sounds really fun and a bit far-fetched. It's about it says Crepe City, modern day, a city once glorified for the quality of its thin pancakes, now dragged to ruin by the all-out war between heroes and villains. Enter Mary Pocher, the hench girl with a heart of gold. This is her story. I just think it sounds really fun, so I'm really pleased that he picked this one. A book that I have been umming and ahhing about picking up, but because of the price of it and the size of it, and I didn't do it for myself, and I'm so glad that he treated me to it. This is the first volume of My Brother's Husband by Gengora Tagami. This just sounds so fascinating. I just think it looks like a manga that I can really get on board with, and from what I can gather, it's the story of a dad in Tokyo. He's a single dad to a daughter, and suddenly a man arrives on their doorstep who's this Canadian man who says he's the widower of the dad's estranged gay twin, and it's just this man's journey into his dead husband's past, and I just think it sounds really fun and fascinating, and I'm really looking forward to reading it, and I'm so pleased that he treated me to this one, because it's one that maybe I wouldn't have picked up myself. He also picked me up another non-fiction that I've been wanting to pick up for ages, which is called Cannibalism, The Perfectly Natural History by Bill Shute. I think this is going to be the year of non-fiction for me. There's quite a lot of non-fiction that I'm really fascinated by. And this looks into cannibalism. The reason I liked this one is that it describes, you know, we think of serial killers and horror movies, but this is a zoologist who's looking at evolutionary and cultural significance of this idea of cannibalism, and looks at it from sort of the natural world and also up to you know, modern day, and I think that's a really interesting idea. Next up, he bought me Not the Girl You're Looking For by Amina May Safi. This is a sort of coming of age YA novel. It's set in Texas, I believe. It's about a young Muslim girl, and it's she's at a prep school. She's caused a little bit of a problem, and caused a scene during Ramadan, and yeah, it's just following her life, and I think it's going to be an interesting look into young girls and their relationships with their friends. He also decided he was going to pick me up quite a few science fiction and fantasy books, which is great, and I really need to get more into them this year because I love them, and I don't know why, I've just not read as many recently. This one I've heard from loads of people is a really good sort of space opera sort of story, and it's A Big Ship at the Edge of the Universe by Alex White. It says a washed up treasure hunter, a hotshot racer and a deadly secret society. They're all on a race against time to hunt down the greatest warship ever built. Some think the ship is lost forever, some think it's been destroyed, and some think it's only a legend. But one thing's for certain, whoever finds it will hold the fate of the universe in their hands. The treasure that valuable can never stay hidden for long. This has got so many amazing blurbs. I mean, do you miss Firefly? Do you want it back? Well, sorry, it's not going to happen, but this book is damn close. Exciting characters in a brilliant universe, an exciting fast-paced magic-fueled treasure hunt. Starting in high gear and never lets up, boasting action, intrigue and deadly fusions of technology and magic. I mean, all the things that I want, a fast-paced action adventure but set in space. And I think this is the start of a series, so if I like this, there's more to come. I've wanted to listen to this podcast, but I haven't, and so maybe this will encourage me, or even just be a dip into the world of this family. This is called The Adventure Zone, Here Be the Gerblins. Whether this will be as good for me, have I not listened to the podcast, but I believe the podcast is about this family that played this role-playing game together, and it's meant to be hilarious. It says, see the illustrated exploits of 3 lovable dummies set loose in a classic fantasy adventure. Read their journey from small-time bodyguards to world-class artifact hunters. Marvel at the sheer metafictional chutzpah of action-packed graphic novel based on a story created in a podcast where 3 dudes and their dad played a tabletop role-playing game in real time. Join Takeo the elf wizard, Merle the wolf cleric, and Magnus the human fighter for an adventure they are poorly equipped to handle at best, guided by their ever-patient dungeon master, in a graphic novel that will tickle your funny bone, tug your heartstrings, and probably pants you if you give it half a chance. I just think that sounds like it's going to be real fun. And the books go on. He got me Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. I read Tiffany D. Jackson's book Allegedly and really enjoyed it. This one sounds like it's going to be an interesting idea. Our main character Monday is missing, and Claudia is the only person that seems to know. It's about her sort of looking into this, trying to work out where this girl has gone. She doesn't think that Monday would just leave. And as she digs deeper, she starts to uncover some things that are a bit dark and a bit sinister, so I think this is going to be a real page turner. He picked up Magic of Blood and Sea by Cassandra Rose Clark. I've heard nothing but good things about this one. It's again sort of a fantasy. It says Anana of the Tanaru abandons ship when her parents trying to marry her off to an allying pirate clan. She wants to captain her own boat, not serve as second in command to handsome yet clueless fiance. But her escape has dire consequences when she learns that the scorned clan has sent an assassin after her. When the assassin Naji finally catches up with her, things get worse. Anana inadvertently triggers a nasty curse with a life-altering result. Now Anana and Naji are forced to become uneasy allies as they work to cure the curse by completing 3 impossible tasks. It just sounds like pirates and magic and intrigue and curses. I mean, what more could you want, really? Another sort of rom-commy one, Cinder and Ella by Kelly Oram. This is talking about an 18-year-old who was in a car accident and left crippled and scarred and without a mother. After a difficult recovery, she's been uprooted and forced into the custody of the father who abandoned her when she was young. And if she wants to escape her father's home and her awful new stepfamily, she must convince her doctors she is capable both physically and emotionally of living on her own. The problem is she's not ready yet. The only way she can think of to start healing is by reconnecting with the one person left in the world who's ever meant anything to her, her anonymous internet best friend Cinder. I think this is going to be an interesting one. I think it might be quite hard hitting, so I'm looking forward to trying it out. Another one is Only Love Can Break Your Heart by Catherine Webber. I've heard nothing but good things about this YA contemporary. This is about 2 people who are lost and need to find themselves, and they meet each other in this sort of desert setting, and I think it's going to be a really interesting idea and probably a bit of a romance, and there'll probably be some tears in there, no doubt. I hasten to add, some of these books were also very kindly gifted to me by the lovely Janet of Swirly Girly Reads. I can't remember all the ones that she got me now, but she really spoilt me. I think she bought me at least 3 or 4 of these. So thank you so much to Janet. She's really thoughtful, and even though we're not going to be doing our Bookopoly this year, we are going to be still buying each other 1 book a month as a bit of a treat and a bit of motivation for the challenges that we both are doing. So I'm really looking forward to doing that with her. But she really treated me, and I can't wait. I'm going to go and visit her soon in a few weeks, actually, not too long. I'm going to be going to visit her at hers, so I look forward to doing that. Next up is Washington Black by Essie Eduguyen. I definitely think this is one that Janet got me, and I'm so pleased she did. This was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize, and is a book that maybe wouldn't come across my radar, or maybe one that I would know about but not want to pick up. But I had so many really interesting reviews on this, I actually thought it might be one that interests me. It's about 2 English brothers taking the helm of a Barbados sugar plantation. Washington Black, an 11-year-old field slave, finds him selected as personal servant to one of the men. To this surprise, the eccentric Christopher Titch Wilde is a naturalist, explorer, inventor and abolitionist, and he wants Washington to help him create the perfect aerial machine. And I just think this is going to be a really good and great literary book for me. In terms of literary books, I really struggle sometimes, and this one just seems like it might be up my alley. Right, the final 2. One is Sufficiently Advanced Magic by Andrew Rowe. This book weighs a ton. It's pretty big all around, and it's so heavy. It says 5 years, Corin Cadence's brother entered the Serpent Spire, a colossal tower with ever-shifting rooms, traps and monsters. Those who survive the spire's trials return home with an attunement, a mark granting the bearer magical powers. According to legend, those few who reach the top of the tower will be granted a boon by the spire's goddess. He never returned. Now it's Corin's turn. He's headed to the top floor on a mission to meet the goddess. If he can survive the trials, Corin will earn an attunement, but that won't be the sufficient to survive the dangers on the upper levels. For that, he's going to need training, allies and a lot of ingenuity. The journey won't be easy, but Corin won't stop until he gets his brother back. This just sounds different and unlike anything I've read before, so I'm looking forward to this one. And the final book. Oh, I am just, yeah. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the illustrated edition. I've got a feeling that Janet got this for me as well. This was one of the books that came in the post that didn't have a gift tag on it. And I don't think I ordered it for myself. And if she did treat me to this, she is just a wonderful human being. So thank you to her. I just can't wait to read these. They're just beautiful. And so beautifully illustrated. I am waiting for one more to come out, and then I'm going to start rereading the Harry Potter series through these illustrated editions. Potentially reading them with my daughter Matilda. It depends on if she can, if she's got the longevity. She does really struggle with chapter books still, but I'm hoping the magic of Harry Potter might draw her in, so we'll see. But yes, the best book of Christmas. So that is all my generous and wonderful family and friends, and I've just got enough books to be really diving into this year. So many so that I just can't decide what to pick ever. But I'm off to now to try and pick my TBR for the month, and yeah, see how that goes. So we shall see. But I'll see you in that one. Bye for now, BookTube.